Hello! I have a problem that I don't know how to solve, and that's why I'm turning to you for your opinion and advice. I'm a 49-year-old woman. I've been a driver for 26 years with Category B. I love driving. It calms me down a lot, and I enjoy it a lot. For some time now, I've been thinking about becoming a professional driver with Category C plus E to drive a truck. I really want to, but I'm afraid. My fear is what people will say about me being a woman trucker and whether I'll be able to handle it. I'm taking medication for depression and anxiety caused by family problems. I feel good because I've overcome my depression and anxiety, but just thinking about starting the course and imagining exams, police officers, a big truck, whether I'll be able to handle it, and I start to feel stupid, incompetent, and that this is a very big spoon for my mouth and that I overestimate myself. On the other hand, I think that this profession will be very pleasant for me because I will travel a lot, I will be alone, I will not have bosses over my head, and in general, I will be free. The salaries are also good. It is an interesting profession. My question is it a shame for a woman to be a trucker, and how can I overcome this fear? Should I even start? I would be very grateful if you could give me your opinion, advice, and recommendations. Stay healthy and well.
First of all, thank you. Thank you for the trust it takes to share this, to be so open about this internal struggle. And let's get one thing straight right from the start. What I hear in your words isn't weakness. It's actually incredible strength. It's just that right now, the fear happens to have the microphone. So our job today is to figure out how to gently take the mic back and turn your own volume up. All right, so let's get into it. You know, when you're facing a feeling this big, this powerful, you can't treat it like one giant, shadowy monster. It's just too overwhelming. The first step is always to flip on the lights and see what it's actually made of. We have to decode it. And what's amazing is you've already done the hardest part for us right here in your letter. You've split this big, messy feeling of fear into two very distinct parts. On one side, we've got the fear of judgment. That's the external stuff, worrying about what other people think. And on the other side, we have the fear of competency. That's the internal stuff, the voice of self-doubt. Just seeing them as two separate things, that's the key. That's how we start to take them apart. So let's talk about that social fear first. The worry about what people will say. It feels huge, I know, but let's ground it in reality for a second. This is a social pressure, not a physical danger. People might have an opinion, sure. They'll comment, and then they'll get distracted and comment on something else. Their opinions are fleeting. And here's the real kicker. Their opinions won't pay your bills. They won't be living your life, and they certainly won't get to feel that amazing sense of calm and joy you feel behind the wheel. That's all yours.
Okay, now for the internal battle. That fear of competency. The little voice that whispers, I'm stupid, I can't handle this. This is where we have to become detectives. We have to stop listening to the feeling and start looking at the cold, hard facts. And the facts, from your own words, tell a completely different story. Fact 1. 26 years of driving experience. That's a quarter of a century of building skill. Fact 2. You love driving. It's not a chore, it's a passion. Fact 3. It calms you. And maybe the most important fact of all, you have the discipline and resilience it takes to manage depression and anxiety. The evidence is overwhelming, and it's all in your favor.
And that feeling of being stupid and incompetent, it's so important to see it for what it is. It's not a real, rational thought based on evidence. It is the voice of anxiety. And anxiety is a master of disguise. It loves to put on a costume of realism or just being practical to convince you that staying small is the safest bet.
Now, I want to build on that idea of strength, because I want to focus on something you mentioned that you might see as a liability, but from a psychological perspective, it's actually one of your greatest assets. Let's talk about the strength that comes directly from struggle.
That voice of anxiety we've been talking about, it has a name. Psychologists often call it the inner critic. It's this pattern of self-doubt that gets wired into us from years of stress and fear. And notice when it gets loudest for you, when you imagine exams, police officers, authority. Its whole mission is to protect you from potential failure or judgment by convincing you not to even try. But when we give it a name, we can start to separate from it. We can see it's just an old, unhelpful mental habit, not the truth.
And this is absolutely crucial to understand. Your history with depression and anxiety doesn't make you weaker or less qualified for this new challenge. Quite the opposite. It has likely made you more prepared in ways you haven't even considered.
Think about what it takes to navigate those challenges. It forces you to develop a deep self-awareness. You know your inner landscape. It sharpens your observational skills. You have to be attuned to your own state and your environment. And most of all, you have proven,
battle-tested resilience to stress. You've been through it and you know how to manage it. Seriously, this isn't a weakness. On the open road, that's a superpower. So, we've pulled apart the fear, we've reframed the past. What now? What does the actual path forward look like? How do we turn this dream into something real without letting that old anxiety grab the steering wheel? The key is to make it small and manageable. Don't think about the whole career at once. That's too much. First, just do some research. Find online communities of women truckers and just listen. Second, just have a conversation. Go to a driving school with one goal. Ask questions. No commitment. Third, reframe this in your mind. This is not a lifelong marriage contract. It's an experiment. You are just trying something on. And finally, you have to break the big fear into little pieces. The fear of the course is one thing. The fear of exams is another. Deal with them one by one, not all at once.
And when we put all of this together, we start to see that the question you asked in your letter, it might not be the real question you're facing.
The question is not, should I even start? That question comes from the fear. It's a question that's designed to keep you safe and exactly where you are. It's fishing for a no.
No. The real question, the one you need to ask your future self, is this. In 5 years, which story do you want to be telling? The story where you look back and say, I was so scared, but at least I tried? Or the story where you look back and wonder, what if? What if I had just taken that chance? That feeling of regret often weighs so much more than the sting of trying and failing. To feel a desire this strong, this clear, for freedom, for peace, for something that is truly yours, especially after a period of struggle, that is not a whim. It's not you overestimating yourself. It's a profound sign of life. It's a signal from the core of who you are that you're ready for the next chapter. Listen to that signal. It's telling you which way to go.